sunshine and shivers. I remember digging my toes, finally free of shoes, into the cool, squishy mud. I remember breaking my mom's umbrellas, jumping off the jungle gym like Mary Poppins. I remember the comforting bubbling of my fish tank at night. I remember the restrictive, frilly dresses my grandma sewed for me. I remember telling my first knock-knock joke so many times that I thought it only took the punchline for people to laugh. I remember the Beanie Baby battles my brother and I would play. I yelled when he was too rough. I also remember the time we tried to give our Beanie Babies a haircut. Oops. I remember never being quick enough to keep my popsicle from disappearing down my arms. My mom distinctly remembers finger paints. I remember waking up at 4:30 in the morning to watch Looney Tunes. I remember us neighborhood kids begging our moms to go to the park so we could play cherry bomb. I remember the glorious futures my Sunday school teachers envisioned for our handmade ornaments. My cat enjoyed batting them off the bottom of the tree. I remember just wetting the toothbrush so I would get more story time with Mom. I remember alternating the Grease soundtrack with Dolly Parton, my awesome new Walkman. I remember the chipmunk acrobats on our bird feeders, flipping, leaping, and stretching for the prize. I remember catching a chipmunk friend that looked real good in Barbie's clothes. I also remember when my mom met my new friend. She screamed. I remember after watching Toy Story, I insisted on sleeping with all my stuffed animals. I remember the effort my mom put into sponge painting my room pink. I hated pink. I remember the big ego of our cat Charlie. The nasty-ass honey badgers got nothing on him. I remember the disappointment of the late afternoon ice cream truck. We couldn't ruin our dinner. I remember sketching elaborate schemes in my journals for secret missions to the kitchen. I remember becoming Jedi Masters in the basement. I remember planning gargantuan snow fort cities and never finishing them. I remember the seatbelt being at the perfect height to rub my neck raw. I remember inventing new games while waiting for the next license plate to appear next to our car. I remember how cozy my mom looked reading her book under the warmth of the lamplight. I remember the sticky batter on my face after licking the beaters clean. I remember rollerblading the house simply because my mom told me not to. I remember the adrenaline of ghosts in the graveyard on those long summer nights. I remember hiding some of my Halloween candy under my bed to keep it from being rationed. I remember looking at my deformed arm in silent horror. The bones almost broke through the skin. I remember the time my mom accidentally started the dryer with my cat in it. The thunking was the tip-off. I remember when I didn't need an area code to call up my friends. I remember the soccer games that always involved me rescuing the ball from the Warner's thorn bushes. I remember the nauseating casserole my mom used to make us eat. The word casserole still makes me shiver. I remember tiptoeing around my dad after dinner until I knew he was in a good enough mood to give me a piggyback ride. I remember thinking my tiny wrists were from being my dad's stress ball. I remember the day I realized how much I needed my brother. I remember hugging Big Bunny until I heard the garage door open late at night. I remember using the empty beer cans on the counter as a gauge of his patience. I remember the hot, rushing anxiety that made me dizzy. I remember being a worthless, selfish bitch. I remember gritted teeth being dangerous. I remember the pain, acid eating away my insides. I remember not deserving his love, and I remember rising above it.